Jerry Tricia McLaughlin back with us, and good morning to you. Thank you for your time. We want to go through a number of things, so give us a chance to get in there, okay? First, on this incident inside the church in St. Paul, they were looking for someone by the name of David Easterwood, who is listed as a pastor there. In the videos that we see, that's not David Easterwood, is it? And if not, what comes after that next, Tricia?
No, that was the lead pastor you saw there, Bill. But this is outright hysteria we are seeing from the left, and this should be the easiest thing in the world for Tim Walz and Mayor Frey to condemn. This shouldn't be a Republican or Democrat issue. These are worshipers who are practicing their First Amendment rights to worship, and yet those rights were trampled on by these protesters who trespassed and began intimidating these Christians worshiping. So I'm glad to see the Department of Justice is taking this incredibly seriously, and I hope we see mugshots soon.
Mayor Frey talked about protesters overall. He was on CNN on Sunday.
Invaded, under siege, occupied, use whatever word or superlative that you want to attach, but the bottom line is what is taking place is designed to intimidate. It is not fair, it's not just, and it's completely unconstitutional. They're peacefully protesting, they're standing up for one another, and like I said, it's not just going to be resistance here in this city. We're not backing down. We're not going to be intimidated.
In addition to that, there's an investigation now into Mayor Frey. Can you tell us more?
I'm going to leave that to the Department of Justice, but so much of what Mayor Frey said there is abjectly, completely false. Let's compare what we see in places like Florida or Tennessee, where we have state and local governments work with us. Out of Florida, we've had 40,000 arrests. We see public safety, we see peace, we see calm. Just to oppose that to what we see out of Minnesota, where we've had a little over 10,000 arrests, and we see riots. We see our law enforcement officers are being pummeled with rocks.
They need to go ahead and lock up the mayor, lock up the governor, lock up Tim Walz, lock up Ilhan Omar, lock up Don Lemon, lock up every single person who's involved in this shit that happened at church. Lock them up, throw away the key, and don't let him out.
Rampant assaults against them, and so this is not peaceful protest that we have been seeing. Mayor Frey should be condemning this. They have to get their city and their state under control.
So Tom Homan has been outspoken. I know what you're about to hear is not going to surprise you, but it sets us up for a particular question after this. Watch here.
Rhetoric from the mayor and the governor emboldens that small percentage who go beyond protesting to criminal activity. They feel empowered to interfere, impede the ICE officers, put their hands on ICE officers, throw weapons, throw stones and throw some water bottles at ICE officers.
So he was talking about the rhetoric there. Big picture, Tricia. I know all of this is important, and all these videos tell a certain story. Did you specifically ask the lawmakers in Minnesota cooperate with you when it comes to access with the jails? And if so, when did that happen? What did they say? And were you ever granted access to the jails who you believe hold criminal, illegal immigrants today?
Time and time again. We're talking about throughout the year, Bill, that our ICE officers have lodged detainers. Those detainers have not been honored. There's a very easy solution to that, and it's to allow our federal law enforcement, our ICE and CBP officers, to work with the state and local officers on the ground. That's what the state and local law enforcement officers want to be doing, is enforcing the rule of law. But if you look at who is in those jails, currently sitting in those jails, Bill, 1,370 criminal illegal aliens in Minneapolis' custody. Murderers, rapists, child pedophiles, those people should serve their time and then they should be turned over to ICE. We have not seen that. We've seen no cooperation. We have not been allowed or have those detainers be honored. That is exactly what we're asking for today. Mayor Walz and, Governor Walz and Mayor Frey should come out today and agree to that. They should also agree to allowing their local law enforcement officers to give our law enforcement officers back. That way, when our officers are being impeded, they're being obstructed, or they're being assaulted, we don't see public safety threats and crises like we've seen the last few days.
On a bigger picture standpoint, ICE is very controversial. And it kind of has been, actually, not really from the beginning, right after 9/11, but increasingly so. Here's Ruben Gallego. He thinks it should be scrapped.
I think ICE needs to be totally torn down. It has to be, created in the image of what people want, right? And what does that look like? From my experience running in Arizona, in a very hard state when it comes to immigration issues, people want immigration enforcement that goes after criminals, right? And focuses on criminals. And immigration enforcement is actually focused on security and not the goon squad that has come from Stephen Miller and Donald Trump.
So with language like that, it doesn't sound like anyone really wants to be civil and try to solve the problem. I think one of the big issues here, Tricia, is that it doesn't seem that somebody like Ruben Gallego and President Trump, that they can even agree on what the problem is that they're trying to solve. I'll give you the final word.
Well, how deeply unserious during a serious moment for our country. The facts on the ground, Dana, is that 70% of those who have been arrested under the Trump administration, 70, either have prior criminal convictions or pending criminal charges against them. That does not even include known or suspected terrorists, of which we've arrested